Hi there, I'm Kathy Brown, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified personal trainer. And I love talking all things health and wellness and nutrition for active women over 40. So it's been a hot minute since I've done one of these videos, and it's not because I haven't wanted to, and I'll get to the reasons in just a minute. I'm not big on excuses, but I do think this is relevant. But before I do that, I want to wish everybody a very happy new year. We're about halfway through January now, and 2025 was a little bit of a tough year for a lot of us. And I'm hopeful that 2026 will be better, and I hope that it is for you as well. So here we go. The reason I haven't done a video for a while is life, really, in short. Last year, I started the year living in Utah in a 2-bedroom apartment. And my significant other and I decided that we wanted to get closer to family. And so we packed up and we moved across country to North Carolina, where we were building a house. And we moved into a 1-bedroom apartment while the house was being built. So about halfway through the year, around the beginning of fall, things really kind of started to wrap up with the house. And if you've built a house before, you know that when it gets close to completion, there's a lot of last minute walkthroughs and decisions to be made and picking up little items that need to be installed and dropping them off for the builders. So that became more of a time suck. And then in the fall, we moved into the house. And there's little things you take for granted in apartments that you don't think of when you're moving into your own house, like every single window needs a window treatment, and it doesn't just come with the house. And we don't have a fence. And so there's all kinds of projects that you have to do when you move into a new home. Then, right after we moved into the house, we got married on the 10th anniversary of our first date, and it was wonderful. We had planned to get married before we moved to North Carolina, but there was some family stuff that happened, and so we postponed it, and we got married in September, which was amazing. It was just a small little courthouse wedding, which was perfect for everything that we had going on at the time. And we had talked about having a party afterward, but we decided, you know what, with everything that's happened this year, we just needed to get away and reconnect with each other. So we went on a honeymoon for about 2 weeks, and it was amazing, completely awesome. But then also with the move came a much longer commute for me to my full-time job. And so there's been a lot of adjustment to living in a new home, adjusting to a new commute, getting settled in. And I was noticing that I was having to compromise the things that are important for me to feel like myself and not feel like I'm just this anxious mess on edge all the time. And it's important to me that I practice what I preach. And I know I talk a lot with the women I work with about eliminating the things that are getting away. They're getting in the way of taking care of yourself as much as you possibly can. And so I really needed to do that assessment for myself in order to keep my health on track. You know, when I get overly stressed and I'm not doing the things that I know I need to do to take care of myself, these perimenopausal symptoms rear their ugly head. Even though I am taking a hormonal contraceptive, those hormones don't completely replace what you're losing during perimenopause. And so it's really, really important to keep up with your wellness routine, your nutrition, your fitness, all that good stuff to stay feeling good, feeling your best self. And so in order to determine where I could make cuts, I first had to really define my non-negotiables. And this is something that I recommend for everybody, especially as we're going deeper into this new year. Really sit down and think about what are the things that you absolutely have to do in your life to feel your best. And for me, it's probably no surprise, number one on my list was fueling myself appropriately with good healthy foods, nutritious foods, because if you don't fuel yourself from the inside out, then nothing else is going to work. And then my other non-negotiables are moving my body every single day, even if it's just getting up from my desk in between appointments and doing a little stretching. On the days where I have the time, I do a full workout. I do 2 to 3 days of strength training, and then I do cardio as well. And so that's really important to me. And then sleep. If I don't get at least 7 hours of sleep, I am just a complete zombie for the rest of the day. And I always knew these things were important, but when things get really hectic, they're often the first to suffer. They're the easiest things to just kind of, oh, I'm too tired. I'm just going to have dinner and sit on the couch and relax. And once I decided that these things were going to be prioritized and that I was not going to compromise it, I needed to set up those boundaries to ensure I was able to follow through. So I do things like I batch cook. Whenever I cook a meal, I make extra so that I have leftovers. I have my pantry completely stocked so that I can always just throw something together last minute without having to stop at the grocery store. This keeps me from having to get takeout. I schedule do not disturb on my phone during sleeping hours so that I don't get woken up by alerts or text messages or anything like that. And then I set the expectation with my significant other, my now husband. I'm still getting used to saying that. But I will eat dinner after I get a workout in. Because let's be honest, he's hungry all the time. And I come home from work and he's like, when do you want to eat? And so I just have to set that expectation that I'm going to get a workout in and then we can eat. So if I hadn't set these boundaries and followed through on consistently doing what I knew needed to be done, I probably would have gone completely insane with everything that was going on. It started to go down that track. And once I felt things going off the rails, that's when I said, okay, let's pull this back. So my greatest piece of advice going into the rest of the new year is to define your non-negotiables. What are the things that make you feel like you? And it's going to be different for everybody. For me, like I said, it was fueling exercise, some sort of movement every day, and sleep. For some people, it's running every morning or, having that meditation time. Whatever makes you feel like you. Set that as a non-negotiable. Set the expectation with the people close to you, whether it's family or you live with roommates or whatever. Of course, life is going to happen occasionally, and sometimes you'll fall off. But when you have that expectation that this is who I am, this is what I do, it's easy to go right back into your routine. Set those boundaries. Make sure that even if, you've got family obligations, kids, aging parents, if you're not feeling your best, you can't show up as your best you. And so really, really try and start small. I mean, you don't have to do it all at one time. If you feel like your schedule and your life is just too hectic to just kind of start shutting things down to do all of the things that you want to do, start with 1 or 2. 1, 2, or 3, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And set those expectations, not just with the people around you, but with yourself. All right, so I'm going to keep this pretty short, but of course, I could talk forever and ever about this, but things have settled down a little bit for me now, and I'm going to be doing more and more of these videos. So I would love to hear from you, even if you just want to bounce ideas off of me. My email address is Kathy with a K at kathybrownnutrition.com. You can go to my website. I've got all my contact information there. And you can find me, of course, here on YouTube. And I have the Facebook group, Fit, Fearless, and Fed Women Run the World. And I'm going to become a lot more active over there. So come join the group for a good supportive community of other like-minded women over 40. And yeah, let me know if you have ideas of things that you want to talk about in future videos. I always love to hear from you. And Happy New Year. Bye.